everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys have been doing wonderful. I've got something great for you today. Dating. Today I'm going to tell you about my dating life. Why am I going to tell you about my dating life? Because I want you to know what tendencies we tend to have with the hearing loss. I want to tell you about how pedophiles sometimes see a hearing aid and assume that they can use it as a control tactic. Oh yeah, it does happen. And I want to tell you about what I did to contribute to that hesitancy, not shooting my shot, being insecure with it. Over years and years and years, what is this thing? I want to tell you guys about that because it could be so interesting. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to love it. I hope you'll stick with me. Thank you so much to all of my subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have not taken the time to subscribe, I encourage you to. There's a lot you can learn and there's a lot that you would love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today we're talking about how do people view us? Are we approachable when we have a hearing loss? Do people shy away from a person with a hearing aid? I'm always trying to help people to understand how they can better live with a hearing loss. So today we're going to jump into it. It's not tips and tools, it's experiences. And I'm going to share with you what's happened with me, the things I went through. You're going to love it. So let's get started. So let me take you let's go back to high school. Around high school, you would think that it's really a time for a teenager to get into her first person, her first love. But in my teenage life, I was very hesitant and I just wouldn't shoot my shot with people. I was nowhere near that because I was a observer. I was looking. And so I think that if I backtrack a little bit, I think that if we have a hearing loss, right, we slow down to hear everything. And so dating just felt very intimidating to me. Boyfriend felt intimidating. In fact, my first boyfriend was through a mutual friend. It wasn't someone that I decided I just had to have. Oh my goodness, he breaks. No. Don't get me wrong, today I'm that girl. If you like it, then should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then should have put a ring on it. Don't get mad at me because you see that he want it. If you like it, then should have put a ring on it. Today I'm that girl. But what it took for me to get here was countering my inner confidence for my hearing loss, countering it, charging at it and saying, no, I want this for myself too. So like I said, during my high school years, oh my goodness, I over-observed, I over-hesitated. And I had a prom date, and it was all well and good, but now even today I can't tell you one thing about prom night except for my dress because it wasn't really significant. To me, in my heart, it was not a significant occasion, and so I think that when we have a hearing loss, give yourself time to adjust. When I look at my life and my relationships, not my friendships, my relationships for that time in my life, I'm not mad at myself. I'm okay because you needed time to adjust. I went on to college, and in college, everything was so fast. You got the clubs. Everybody gonna be in the cafe. You gonna be in the cab? Yeah, you out in the yard. Did you hear that, man? Oh no, just shut up. No. There's so much. Oh. College. Y'all? How the hell am I find a boyfriend in this? Can anybody sit down with me for a minute and eat and just talk to me and slow it down? So you got to think about the dynamics of how things work in our lives and these different stages. In college, we're so pumped up. Ain't nobody slowing down for you. I'll be honest, I had a couple of friends I could call on when I needed something repeated, but in college, people are really real with you. They like, come on, I'm good. You look. And so I had my eyes on a particular person in college, but I still was in my hesitancy stage. I still was hesitant. I still was ultra observant of him. And he and I are still friends to this day, but I was so hard on him because at the end of the day, I was making excuses not to take this next step in my life because it was scary. Why was it so scary, Dominique? Why was being in a relationship so scary in college? It was scary because it would involve intimate building of communication. It would make me open myself up to a person. And I was so busy in my high school and college years questioning myself, dealing with some insecurities, trying to be confident, even with this hearing aid. Forgot the battery one day. It doesn't work. It's at the shop. Oh my goodness, I can't hear in this ear. What you say? Oh no, I'm good, girl. Now we're fine. Trying to look like you're keeping up on days that you're not. And so sometimes your mind is so far from a guy, to be really honest with you, when you are just struggling through that every day. It's so far from a guy or someone you like, and times just come up and you just say to yourself, oh my goodness, we still haven't connected, but it's okay. And so my relationships grew. I did date, and guys approached me, but I found that after I left college into my 20s, I was not as approachable as much. And I think it's because in your 18 to 20, when you're in college, you don't think about those things. You accept people, but you're loud and you're rowdy and you're quick and you're going to the club and everybody chilling, and so nobody's really judging you, right? But when you get to 21 and 22, 23, 25, people starting to think about what they want for their lives. And so I came upon judgment. I came upon some judgmental guys, you guys, So I met some people through a friend, or some people, they would talk to me and then they found out I had a hearing loss and I never heard from again. Oh yeah, you're going to go through that. You will go through that. Some people were pedophiles, or some people were just, playing with me too, trying to get that. And when they seen that I was decent or had this hearing aid, they said, no, I'm not going to take advantage of a girl with a hearing loss. And so that is what happened. I would say that a girl that's just come out of college is fluent in dating. She's got a little bit of a system and some structure going on, but not really a level playing field if you are hearing disabled, because you're not looking at how your confidence levels affects your ability to be approached, to get on the date, to act in those ways that are suitable, that make you look good. So much of analyzing in my mind that I had been doing that slowed me down for years. And then around 22, I met a young man, and I'll say his name because I love him to the end, to the moon and back. Tim. I met him at my audiologist office. And he was so sweet. Mind you, I'm a DC, Maryland girl, okay? So Tim loved his whole aura. He slowed things down for me. He talked. He was deeply caring in his conversation. And that relationship really made me gather what I wanted from guys. And so, in your 20s, guys aren't doing that. They're not slowing down the day for you. They're saying, hey, can you meet me at such and such? Oh, no, I can't meet you today. Oh, yeah, I'll try to get with you next week. So they're not slowing you down. And so when I had that instance with this guy, Tim, that I met, and he was such a sweetheart, I decided really to start dating older guys. Older guys slow things down. They take you to dinner. They sit and talk to you at dinner. They're more They have more on their mind. They want to present to you more because they are attracted to that. First off, you're younger and they love it. And so I went through a phase of going out with older guys, and it was awesome. I loved it. But I ran into a pedophile who ultimately manipulated my hearing loss and caused me a traumatizing experience. And this traumatizing experience kind of depressed me out for a few years. And so that happened probably, I would say, about 5 years ago. All of that ended. But it has really given me a different look in life about dating and how people can use our hearing loss against us. And I just want to tell you that it can be a control tactic. People see a hearing aid and they think, I can take advantage of her on that. You know, everybody doesn't have a nice heart to say, no, I wouldn't do that to her. Some people actually will. In a nutshell, a lot of my relationships were ending because I was not finding or conquering my self-esteem of my hearing loss. So let's say I went on to a date. A lot of times on a date, if a guy asked me about it and wanted to know too much about it, then it made me uncomfortable. That shouldn't even be the case. I should be so comfortable enough to tell him anything that he wants to hear about my hearing loss, because I'm presenting it to you. I have to show you that I've made a way. I live with this. I am good. That's how you want to present it to people. And so I think that really was a very bad part of my whole dating fiascos and why they weren't working out, because your security has to be reflected. And mind you, my last few relationships were awesome. They gave me a chance to really test out my hearing loss confidence, and I passed with flying colors. I really did. But the point of this video is to tell you that when you have a hearing loss or a disability, to allow yourself to take time. I think it wasn't even until my last 2 relationships that I really started to initiate standards, told people how to talk to me, told people what I wanted up front and what I would need for them in communication. How do you have a good relationship when all of those things are going to come up? And believe me, they're going to come up, because they did. And, you know, people in relationships, we might get tired of somebody and we want to out reason. Bam. People can use that as an out against you. Well, you never told me that you preferred me texting you all the time. You never seemed like it was a problem before. You know, so you don't know, you don't want to hold on to a person like that, but you don't want that person to have a reason that you never told me. And so I think even for people with a hearing loss, the best thing we can do is keep dating and dating until we find that really compassionate person. Because that really compassionate person would never do that. He's got to be your knight in shining armor. You know, he's got to really care deeply enough that he would never hold that against you. That is what you're looking for. And if you are dating someone with a hearing loss, you've got to be prepared to do that. That is the law of integrity when you're dealing with people that are born with incapacities, is that you would never disrespect it or improperly disregard it. I do want to stress one thing, and we have to say this, we have to just face it. Pedophiles will come our way. People will walk to us, and not even just about a hearing aid, but the biggest emphasis is don't be so pressing of it. Don't press yourself for anybody. Don't feel like you have to settle for anybody, because that is going to be held against you. I can't really explain the extent of that, but I'll say this. You're coming with a hearing loss. I'm coming with a hearing loss. So if I ever come to a time where you're not respecting me, that's going to double my lack of respect you have for me, if that makes sense. You understand? I already have to do flying colors with people to make sure they understand I got this and I'm watching you, you know, but people still have to have a certain amount of respect for you that they get from you and how you carry yourself. So if any day ever came where they got close to disrespecting you, your hearing loss wouldn't be a reason to. That's what you are looking for in relationship. Because you come in with a hearing loss. You come in with the incapacity to hear. I'm coming needing you. I'm coming and I need you. How do you walk into something and you need somebody? That is very open. That's very submissive. And I think that is what stopped me so much in my younger years when I was dating in high school and college. And why was I observing so much? I was observing so much because I knew that if I got close to a guy, or the guy that I got close to, he would have my heart. And I would know that I would have to open myself up and that I would need him. It's not scary to need somebody. But it's scary to argue with a person who has your heart and you can't hear them. It's scary to open yourself up to a person and it's the wrong person. And now you're vulnerable and they say, you can't hear! Whew! It burns in your soul because when you're coming with a hearing loss, you got to open yourself up. You gotta depend on this person. It's not like a regular person. You know, how to explain that, I don't really know, but I guess people with regular level hearing would think of it a different way, but it's something totally different. You are making yourself vulnerable, and you're saying, I love you, I'm coming, but I'm going to need your help. And so it's the great amount of vulnerability that goes into a relationship when you have a hearing loss. And so that is where I am with dating, and that is how dating has really worked out for me. I know how to make a level playing field, but the very first key to it is your hearing loss confidence. Before you go on the date, you should be asking yourself, how do I feel today about this person? How do I feel about myself and going out? If you have been sitting in the house sulking a little bit, a couple of days, your mood has changed because of your hearing loss, it might not be the time to date people for a minute because they don't need to see that in you. And so you also might come upon people you meet. I would be honest, I'm on apps and I'm on dating sites, and I come upon a lot of people. You know, a lot of men reach out to me, but I can say a lot of them I actually say, he does not have the capacity to respect or have patience with my hearing loss. And so that really does so much cut down the number of guys that I actually consider dating. In a nutshell, because I need to know that he is respectful enough where if it ever came down to that, you wouldn't go there. Don't go there. Just don't go there on my hearing loss stuff. You know, so that is the pivotal thing that a hearing loss person would need. Whether you're dating them or whether it's you need to know that this person would never go there on your hearing loss, and a person who's dating a hearing loss person has to say, I would never go there on a hearing loss, because it's something that we're trusting you with. It's a level of vulnerability. So I hope that sums it up for you guys. I hope you got some great understanding about that, about the vibe, the flow, and the dynamics of dating with a hearing loss. You know, we go out and we date and we say, he's this way, he's that. I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to say this, I want to say that. But imagine sitting on a date and missing a lot of things and saying, hope he didn't pick up on that. Or a few days before you had an issue with your hearing aid, and now you're sitting there eating your spaghetti at Lido's and it's going in and out, and you're on the first day. How do you explain that to him? And is he compassionate enough to say, hey boo, you fine? I'm here. Is he compassionate enough to hold your hand and say, you're fine, I got you? That's what I need. And so I am a single woman right now. I'm happy about it because I've been through the ups and downs, the nooks and crannies of people that don't know how to respect that and people that don't have that compassion. And I'll say, peace out, boo-boo, because that is not what I need. If my hearing aid goes in and out, I don't need you catching attitude too. Because that right there makes me say, you know what, this date is finished. I need to see some compassion with people. So I think that's the biggest thing when dating. We are regular, we are usual people. We just have an incapacity here. But if my hearing aid goes down, and you sitting there like, oh really? You gonna see that on my face? But anyway, guys, I hope you all liked that video. I hope that enlightened you about what a hearing loss person goes through on a date. Don't sleep on that. Do not sleep on it or play down what I'm talking about. Why don't a lot of hearing loss people shoot their shot? Why don't they do it? Why don't they jump out there, love the life that they have and do it? It's a lot that goes behind a hearing loss. It's a lot of confidence that's got to come behind approaching somebody, willing to be vulnerable with them. So a lot of times, me as a hearing loss individual, I don't approach a lot of people because I can't see from approaching you that you would even respect my hearing loss. And that might be a mishap of mine that I have to deal with. But at the same time, it saves me from those idiots that don't always know how to respond. So, as always, if you like the video, please subscribe. Please remember to share out the video. I love my subscribers. Thank you guys for being here. I hope that you enjoy that. A shout out to my friend Tim, who I told you all about earlier. He is still a friend after 20 years. I met this man 20 years ago, and still we are the best of friends. So he wasn't meant to be my boyfriend. He was meant to be a long-term friend of mine. And he gave me the experience to see that I could be accepted for my hearing loss, that someone could care about me in a compassionate way, and that a man who loved me would slow it down so I could hear. It was an exceptional opportunity that really set the pace for a lot of men in my life and how I deal with people. So you all got the snap on the beautiful Dominique and what's going on with her dating life.